It's not just Bradley Cooper banning chairs. It's him being a method actor like all these other white dudes. It's always white men. There are some, like, okay, this is my mutual. I learned a lot about method acting from her content. So it's not just white men who do method acting, but the way they do it. The entitled, annoying, put everyone in danger, like very narcissistic minded way, it is always white men. When women tend to do method acting, if they do it in a way that everyone doesn't suffer. So let's get into some examples of how awful these people are. And the final one is about Jeremy Strong in Succession, because I will never forgive this man for what he put his crew through. Because this is part of the bigger conversation that I've been talking about with, Bradley Cooper, Christopher Nolan, all these dudes who just think that like directors are just these amazing people who make this amazing art. When no, they are like the boss of hundreds of people, and they're usually really bad bosses, and they're usually really reckless bosses, and they actually put people in danger regularly. And even if they aren't putting people in danger, they're stupid, entitled actors, usually white men, are doing it instead. So let's start off with these other ones, and then I'm gonna get to Jeremy. Harper's Bazaar has a great list of these, but let's just start with easier ones. This Austin Butler. He just loved talking about how he tortured himself. And that is one of the things I find so annoying about these dudes. It's like, I'm sorry that you're dead inside and you hate yourself and you take that out on everyone else with addictions and method acting and, treating women in your life terribly and anyone you have power over. But can you please go to therapy and deal with how much you love to torture yourself instead of torturing everyone you have power over? Because this does not impress me. And the more men do this to get Oscars, the more they make everyone have to do this to get Oscars. He's like, I tortured myself. I was humiliated. He did that stupid accent for years. And look at this. He didn't see his family for 3 years. Luckily he's young. I'm pretty sure he doesn't have kids or a wife or anything. But if this man was married with children, like so many of these dudes, I would hate him for this. Really? You're just gonna abandon your family, right? Was it really worth that role? Your Oscar bid role? Get over yourself. And I love how he likes to compare it to living in another country for 3 years. Hi, I've been in France for 5, and I have never acted this way. This is not even comparable. Even if you go to another country, you're speaking their language, you're living in their culture, your friends are all French, you are still who you were before you arrived there. And no matter how much you integrate, you are still a person who arrived there. And you also are not supposed to be torturing everyone else while you do your God. And this part right here made me mad. Tom Hanks was so worried about him that he made sure to give him another job right after this so that he wouldn't spiral into cool. So not only did this guy get Oscar bids and did the whole award season for this insanity, but then he also got more work by his concerned white men elders. God, this guy, I love his work, but honestly, it is not worth it. If you have to do all this to deliver these kind of performances, you need to get a different job. This is like capitalism at its worst. And this is so tied into toxic masculinity and men just thinking that it's normal to just abuse yourself. Men just want so bad to be in pain, to be heroes of their own war movie, but since they're not going to war, they're like, I'll create a war in myself that everyone has to suffer from. Look what he did. He got pneumonia on the Gangs of New York because he wouldn't wear a coat. He didn't bathe for the entirety of the Crucible. He caught and killed all of his meals while making Last of the Mohicans, and he kept himself locked in solitary confinement. All of this affects his coworkers, his the actors that he's acting with, and all those people, usually over 100, sometimes several hundred, who are relying on this man to do his job. He's like, no, I need to feel pain. So he gets pneumonia. Great. What happened to those people who weren't getting paid while you're fighting this unnecessary illness because you're being a naked actor? And we got Tom Hanks himself. All these men, they're the same. Look at this. He refused to cut his hair or bathe. Y'all, Can you imagine having to deal with a man who smells this bad on purpose? Like purposely smells this bad. Look at this. This is the part, you do you, boo. But he got a staph infection. So the whole production was shut down for 3 weeks. Hey, Tom Hanks, did you pay all those crew members? Like, the thing is the timing of these movies is so critical. And when these stars are so reckless that they get a staph infection for some unnecessary BS, these crew members are jumping from one film set to the next. So this may have thrown off their whole next job, Like, you never have job security in this industry, even when you're in the union. And now they're 3 weeks behind. Cool, bro. This person you screwed your crew. Lady Gaga, of course, now I know why you and Bradley Cooper get along so well. Like, get over yourself. Look, her method acting just involved her being annoying and speaking with this accent for almost a year. But that doesn't involve torturing people like Jared Leto. Leonardo DiCaprio, he tried so hard to get an Oscar and he finally got it for torturing himself. Great lesson. Okay, that's what you gotta do. Look at this. He camped out in the wilderness. He slept in animal carcasses, ate raw bison, and went swimming in frozen rivers. Like, the dude almost got hypothermia. He could have died, but he got that Oscar. Look at this. Hilary Swank, okay? This is what she did. She walked around trying to pass as a boy for 5 weeks before filming. How much do you think that impacted other people? Probably 0. Or maybe a little, but like, when women do method acting, it doesn't cause a lot of harm usually. And if it does, it might be to themselves, but it seems like they do it within reason. But this guy, the dude literally just tortured all of his castmates. Only a white man could do all of this and still get work. Anyone else who is not a white man would be called difficult and might never work again. Unless their method acting only affected themselves. If it infected anyone else, they'd be difficult. Like, the dude was like, I'm not coming to rehearsal. And then left a dead pig on the table. He sent condoms, anal beads, all kinds of stuff, rats. Look at his ridiculous, And then directors like this dude just encourage it. He constantly has to give birth himself. Give birth to himself. He goes away, he comes back, he shoots, he goes away. Look at this. The Joker is something you have to be, and you can see how exhausting and painful it is for him to be this character. But look at this. Sets the bar for everybody. Now these directors who already usually suck themselves because they're so grandiose, then they're like, oh yeah, all my actors should be doing this. But let's talk about, even when the directors are really not a fan of this, there's only so much they can do. So Jesse Armstrong had such a talented cast. It sounds like in interviews that the rest of the cast is so annoyed with Jeremy Strong. And Brian Cox is just has made fun of him, being like, why can't you just act, bro? But here's the thing that makes me so mad. Not only do they torture their castmates, right? Make it uncomfortable for everybody because they won't whatever. I respect artists and their process. But when they have wives and children and you pull this, I already don't like you. But when you put the whole crew in danger, now I hate you. He scared the crap out of Jesse Armstrong in the finale. Look, I was terrified. I was terrified that he might fall in and be injured. But he climbed over that barrier. He looked like he was going to jump. And this is the important part. When you film, there are generally a lot of health and safety assessments. This stuff has to be planned. Jeremy Strong, and this is the entitlement of it. Jeremy Strong doesn't want to play by the rules. He wants to do it. He feels his character needs to maybe jump in the water. That's what he's going to do. Even if he literally dies doing it and now creates a lawsuit, an unhealthy environment for the crew. Now someone's got to go save his butt. Now he's going to financially impact everybody. Stop doing this. This is how he talks about how he was doing it. He's just trying to take things further. First of all, when the actor thinks he knows more than the creator of the show, he just decided, he thought he knew his character better than the literal creator. So right after they cut, he just went and just raced over there. And it took a fellow cast member to stop him. I just felt in that moment that Kendall wanted to die. But like Jesse reminds people, if we'd been thinking of that happening, we would have had boats and frogmen and all kinds of safety measures, which we didn't have. So Bradley Cooper not only tortures his cast by not letting them have chair, but he's a method actor directing. These men need to get over themselves.